Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve Ben-nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Boy, we got some mess going on, guys. Right now, you're looking on your screen here. This here is just a little short clip of a video footage that's being looped over and over and over. But as far as the eye can see, these are people from Honduras that are being given passage through Mexico, coming up to the U.S. border. Now, what was interesting is that in one particular clip, Fox News commentator that was down there said that the majority of the migrants that are coming up are male. And it is strongly reminiscent of what happened in Europe. And of course, the situation in Europe is still far from being contained, and what will actually happen out of that as a result. It seems to me to be a destabilization plan to totally bring down the United States as they're trying to destroy Western Europe. You don't see it as much in Eastern Europe because Eastern Europe has already been under communism once before, so there's still that mentality of communism in Eastern Europe. The people can still adjust to a socialistic lifestyle, but Western Europe is more democratic, just as the United States is. And so to crush that, one easy way is to bring in the refugees, especially mostly male refugees. There are some families, but not a lot. And they're saying, of course, that their pay is $5 a day, and of course, in America, you can make that in 1 hour, as illegal labor. And if you're being paid normally, you would make that in about 30 to 45 minutes. So they're definitely coming for a better way of life. They're walking. They're willing to walk. Where they're going to end up? Texas, Mexico, or excuse me, not Mexico, but California, Arizona, New Mexico. Who knows? But it's coming, and I don't think it's going to be a good thing either. Not a lot of families to have to separate in this case here, and I hope they don't separate families regardless of what happens there, because that is just a disaster. Also, Russia, President Putin had made the statement the other day that the Russians would be martyrs going to heaven because Russia would not do a first strike, but if they were struck, they would retaliate. And the way Putin put it over there at the meeting in Sochi was that the United States would have no time to repent after the retaliation of Russia. That kind of lets me know that Russia must be anticipating some type of strike on their country in the near future for Putin to be talking in this way here. Now, the U.S. is leaving the INF, according to President Trump, will put nuclear non-proliferation at risk and may lead to complete chaos, is what Moscow is saying. From what's happening there. The entire world is becoming very, very chaotic. Today I did the video on Hebrew Nation Radio with Bonnie Harvey on Flashpoint, our radio broadcast there. And it's interesting, she contacted me. She said the last half of the broadcast was removed. And the IT guy said he had never seen anything like it in all the years of the broadcasting there on Hebrew Nation Radio, for them to actually hack the system and remove half of the broadcast. Now, the subject we got into on the broadcast, though, was about the Crimean attack on the college there, the Kerch shooting there. And I was speaking about the situation there at the college, and the one thing that came to my own mind was that I had spoke about how that could this be another case of like Tunisia, or in the case of the Washington Mall, the woman that ran the White House gate there, as I've shared before in times past. And I'm going to be a little bit careful here in the way I use the terminology here, because we feel like that the terminology is what flagged it and they removed the video. But I was talking about a certain type of technology that the U.S. military uses where they can control the mind and project thoughts into the mind. And I had been shared some inside information with certain individuals there near the Capitol, I'll say it that way as well, that told me that allegedly the government used this technology to carry out these other cases there, Tunisia, Washington Mall, etc. And then, of course, we had spoken ourselves with the, let me just pull that up, that article there real quick, school shooting Crimea. We had spoke to one of the survivors in the Sunshine State. Let me just put it like that. And when we did, one of the survivors there, he was a little bit hesitant to want to come on because he said that he was under a lot of pressure, and this was causing him a lot of problems in speaking out about what really went on. But he did let us know, though, that there were there was believed to be more than one gunman in the case of the Sunshine State there. And as a result of that, one thing that really caught my attention on that is that as you look at all the different videos that were coming out about it, that in the case of the Sunshine State there, if the one teacher spoke about it being a man that was doing the shooting was dressed a lot like a law enforcement, and full body armor, mask, face mask, everything. Couldn't identify. There wasn't no way to identify him. A lot of things were really suspicious about this. Even in this young man's interrogation, he made the statement that he heard voices in his head. Well, that brought up the technology that we've spoken about before. And then, of course, I could not help but wonder, could it be a situation in Crimea at the college there, this 18-year-old student there that took the lives of 20 people and also used a bomb, could that type technology have been used as well? Now, that's a far-fetch, but it's something to think about, because why are we having all these situations like this? Why is all this happening all over the world now? I mean, kids really losing it that bad? Or is there something more sinister in the works? I'm Stephen Ben-nun with Israeli News Live. Think about it. By the way, we will be making our comments and live broadcasts a little different because we are under an all-out assault. And we see this, we see things that are happening. And so we will be making some changes on there. I do want to thank our moderators that have been very helpful for us in that respect there. We may return to the live interaction in the near future, but at this point here, we're getting very close to speaking about information that's going to be very, very risky. And so therefore, we need to keep a close tab on what's being brought out because of the attacks against us. All types of false accusations will be made. I know that. I'm expecting that. Everything you can think of to try to demean the character of who we are here will be attacked, because they're going to try to find anything and everything they possibly can, even if they have to fabricate information to make it look like that we're the bad guys. Because the more we hit those sensitive spots that reveal who they really are, the more they will come back at us. I'm Stephen Ben-nun with Israeli News Live. Erev Tov.